In remote corners of the planet, there are creatures so unique and rare that almost no one has had the privilege of seeing them. Animals that, although often unknown, play crucial roles in the balance of nature. Today, we will explore some of these species that are on the brink of extinction. Species that, if we don't act soon, could disappear forever. Have you ever wondered what would happen if these mysterious creatures, which we only hear about in documentaries or science books, actually disappeared? What would we lose? In this video, you will not only meet some of the rarest and most extraordinary animals on Earth, but you will also learn why their disappearance would deeply affect the entire ecosystem. Imagine a creature as rare as the axolotl, which has evolved in such a unique way, disappearing from our planet. Or a pangolin, covered with scales as tough as a dragon's, no longer being part of the wild fauna. These creatures, with their particularities, are not just biological oddities, but key pieces in the ecological balance. Through their stories, we will discover why biodiversity is in serious danger and what we can do to protect it. Today we will talk about some of the rarest animals on the planet. Creatures that are not only fascinating for their appearance, but also for the role they play in our ecosystems. Unfortunately, many of these species are on the brink of extinction, facing threats such as poaching, destruction of their natural habitat, and climate change. We will delve into the world of these extraordinary animals that, if we don't act in time, are at risk of disappearing into the darkness of history. Most people never get to know these animals or even imagine what they represent for nature. However, their existence is vital. The axolotl, the pangolin, the Jacko da Cabica preta, and many others are connected to specific ecosystems where they play essential roles. From regenerating aquatic habitats to controlling pests, the disappearance of just one species can destabilize an entire natural system. Each of these creatures is unique not only because of their appearance but also because of their extraordinary abilities. These animals have adapted in astonishing ways to their respective environments, and many of them possess skills that seem to defy the laws of biology as we know it. Their existence is a testament to the incredible diversity of life on Earth, and at the same time, a warning about what is at stake if we don't do enough to protect them. Take the axolotl, for example. This aquatic salamander is famous for its ability to regenerate not just lost limbs but also entire organs, including its heart. This regenerative ability makes it a fascinating subject of study for regenerative medicine. Scientists are still uncovering the secrets of its extraordinary biology, and its disappearance would mean the loss of an invaluable source of knowledge for science and human medicine. Next, we have the pangolin, a mammal whose armor of hard, shiny scales makes it look like a small dragon. Despite its intimidating appearance, the pangolin plays a crucial role in its ecosystem. It primarily feeds on termites and ants, controlling the populations of these insects. Without pangolins, the fauna in the ecosystems where they live would be severely affected, as the insect populations would proliferate without their natural predator. Finally, there is the Jacko da Cabica preta, an endemic bird from Brazil that is in danger due to deforestation. This bird plays a key role in seed dispersion, helping to maintain the health of tropical forests. If the Jacko disappeared, we would not only lose a fascinating species, but the tropical forest ecosystem would also lose its ability to regenerate, which would affect other species of flora and fauna. These animals are not just biological curiosities. They play essential roles in maintaining ecological balance. Their loss would be a devastating blow to the planet's biodiversity. Let's start with the axolotl, one of the most fascinating and mysterious creatures on our planet. Native to the lakes of Xochimilco in Mexico City, the axolotl is known for its ability to regenerate parts of its body. This process, which includes limbs, parts of its spinal cord, and even its heart, makes it a unique biological phenomenon. Unlike other animals that can regenerate some tissues, the axolotl has the ability to rebuild entire organs, which has attracted the attention of biologists and doctors worldwide. However, despite its remarkable regenerative ability, the axolotl is in grave danger of extinction. The main threat to its existence is the pollution of its natural habitat. The lakes of Xochimilco, where it was once abundant, have been severely contaminated due to urban development and the introduction of invasive species. This has drastically reduced the population of axolotls in the wild, with only a few remaining in their original habitat. Conservation efforts are underway, but the situation remains critical. Captive breeding programs and habitat restoration initiatives are being implemented to save the axolotl. However, time is running out, and the species remains extremely vulnerable. The axolotl is not only a symbol of Mexican biodiversity, but also a window into scientific advances in regenerative medicine. If it disappears, we will lose an invaluable source of knowledge. The pangolin is another of the rarest and most surprising animals that inhabit our planet. With its body covered in keratin scales, similar to those of a dragon, the pangolin looks like a creature from a fantasy story. However, this creature, which is actually a mammal, plays a crucial role in the ecosystem of its region. Its primary food source is termites and ants, and it feeds by digging into the nests of these insects with its long tongue, which can measure up to 40 centimeters. In this way, the pangolin helps control the populations of these insects, preventing them from becoming destructive pests to ecosystems. Despite its unique appearance and important ecological role, the pangolin is the most trafficked mammal in the world. Its meat is considered a delicacy in some cultures, and its scales are used in traditional medicine. This has led to millions of pangolins being captured illegally every year, drastically reducing their population. Currently, the pangolin is critically endangered, and its situation has become increasingly desperate. Efforts to protect the pangolin are numerous, but still insufficient. There are programs to stop illegal trafficking, as well as conservation projects in its natural habitat. However, demand in illegal markets remains a significant threat. If the pangolin disappears, we would lose a species crucial to ecological balance, and we would also be allowing poaching to continue destroying our biodiversity. The black-headed curassow is one of the most iconic birds of the Brazilian rainforest, but it is also in serious danger of extinction. This endemic species, which mainly resides in the Amazon region, plays a crucial ecological role in seed dispersal. As a frugivore, it feeds on a variety of fruits that fall from the rainforest trees, and by consuming and later dispersing them through its droppings, it helps the tropical forests regenerate naturally. However, massive deforestation and the expansion of agriculture in the Amazon are rapidly destroying its habitat. The loss of forests and ecosystem fragmentation have isolated the curassow populations, making it difficult for them to find mates and reproduce. Poaching has also been a threat, although to a lesser extent, further contributing to the decline in their numbers. Today, the black-headed curassow is listed as critically endangered, and its population has dramatically decreased in recent decades. The role of this animal as a seed disperser is vital not only for its own ecosystem but also for the balance of the entire rainforest. If the curassows disappear, we would not only lose a fascinating species but also compromise the natural regeneration of the forests. This would have a chain effect, impacting many other animal and plant species that depend on the forests for survival. Conservation efforts to protect the curassow include the creation of protected areas and reforestation programs. But, as with many endangered species, human pressure on the environment remains a significant challenge. The curassow serves as another reminder that the conservation of a species is a collective task that requires urgent action. The disappearance of rare species like the axolotl, pangolin, and black-headed curassow is not an isolated issue. It reflects a much larger global crisis, the mass extinction of species. Currently, more than 40,000 species are at risk of extinction, according to the International Union for Conservation of Nature, IUCN. The primary cause of this alarming loss of biodiversity is human activity. Poaching, habitat destruction, pollution, and climate change are decimating entire ecosystems and threatening the survival of countless species. Each time a species disappears, we not only lose a unique being with fascinating characteristics, but we also disrupt a delicate ecological balance. Endangered animals like the axolotl, pangolin, and curassow play essential roles in regulating their habitats. The axolotl helps control aquatic insects in the lakes of Xochimilco, the pangolin keeps pest populations in check in forest ecosystems, and the curassow disperses seeds to ensure the regeneration of forests. If these animals disappear, food chains and entire ecosystems would be compromised. Moreover, the loss of biodiversity also has direct consequences for humans. We rely on nature for many of our resources, from food to medicine. Many species, like the axolotl, are being studied for their potential in regenerative medicine, and their disappearance would mean losing a valuable source of scientific research. The loss of biodiversity also affects the quality of air, water, and soil, all of which are essential for our survival. This is a critical moment for humanity. If we do not act now to protect these species and their habitats, the future of many of these animals, and of the entire planet, could be uncertain. Extinction not only affects the creatures that disappear, but it also has a domino effect on the environment, and ultimately, on ourselves. Despite the magnitude of the crisis, there is hope. Around the world, conservation efforts are underway to save species like the axolotl, pangolin, and black-headed curassow. Although the challenge is immense, science, international cooperation, and the involvement of local communities are key to reversing extinction trends. One of the most notable efforts to save the axolotl is the conservation work being done in the Xochimilco lakes in Mexico. Here, biologists are carrying out captive breeding programs and reintroducing axolotls into their natural habitat, while also working to restore aquatic ecosystems. Local and scientific organizations are working to eliminate invasive species and reduce pollution in the lakes, which could help create a healthier environment for axolotls and other native species. Additionally, research on axolotl cell regeneration is opening doors for future advances in regenerative medicine, demonstrating that protecting this species is invaluable to humanity. In the case of the pangolin, the fight is primarily against the illegal trafficking of the species. Several governments have intensified measures to curb poaching and the trade of pangolins, while organizations like Traffic are working to strengthen law enforcement and reduce demand in illegal markets. Additionally, some conservation projects are restoring the pangolin's natural habitats and creating protected reserves where the species can live and reproduce without the threat of poaching. However, the challenge persists, as demand in certain markets remains high. For the black-headed curassow, the effort is mainly focused on protecting tropical forests. Reforestation initiatives and the creation of natural reserves in Brazil are helping to restore its habitat, allowing the species to recover slowly. Monitoring programs are also being implemented to assess the curassow's population and ensure that the protected areas are effective. These efforts, while promising, still need to be intensified to ensure the long-term survival of the curassow and other species of the rainforest. While these efforts are crucial, we also need each of us to play a role in conservation. Educating ourselves about the importance of these species and participating in local conservation projects are fundamental steps. Furthermore, supporting government policies that promote the protection of natural habitats and reducing consumption of products that contribute to illegal wildlife trafficking are crucial actions that we can all take. Conserving rare and endangered species is not only the responsibility of governments and international organizations, but also of each one of us. While large-scale efforts are essential, individual actions can have a significant impact when accumulated. From small daily choices to active participation in global movements, we can all be part of the solution. One of the most effective ways to help is by educating ourselves about biodiversity and endangered animals. By understanding the importance of species like the axolotl, pangolin, and black-headed curassow, we can make informed decisions that favor conservation. For example, opting for products that do not contribute to the destruction of natural habitats, such as those from illegal deforestation, or avoiding products derived from wildlife trafficking. Understanding the issue of poaching and supporting initiatives that combat this crime are also important steps. In addition, we can participate in conservation programs, either through donations to organizations that protect animals and their habitats or by volunteering in nature reserves or research centers. Many local initiatives seek community support to restore ecosystems and protect endangered species. By joining these efforts, we not only help save animals, but also contribute to the well-being of future generations. Another important aspect is pressing governments to implement stricter laws to protect biodiversity. Often, public policies are not enough to halt environmental destruction, but collective citizen action can lead to significant change. The creation of protected areas, regulation of species trade, and ecosystem restoration are measures that must be backed by strong political will. Finally, social media and digital platforms can be powerful tools to raise awareness about endangered species conservation. Sharing information, educating others, and highlighting conservation initiatives are effective ways to engage more people in this cause. Every voice counts, and the reach of these platforms can mobilize thousands, even millions, of people worldwide to act in favor of biodiversity. The future of rare and endangered species, such as the axolotl, pangolin, and black-headed curassow, depends on the decisions we make today. Every action counts, and it is possible to change the course of mass extinction if we recognize the magnitude of the problem and act with urgency. Preserving these species not only guarantees the survival of extraordinary beings, but also ensures the health and balance of the ecosystems that sustain life on Earth. In the coming years, the key will be how we balance human development with environmental protection. Urbanization, industrialization, and the exploitation of natural resources will continue to be constant pressures on biodiversity. However, if we manage to implement sustainable strategies, such as agroforestry, responsible ecotourism, and the adoption of green technologies, we can protect the natural environment while meeting human needs. Furthermore, science plays a fundamental role in this process. Advances in biology, genetics, and medicine could help us better understand the mechanisms that allow for organ regeneration, as seen in the axolotl, or develop new ways to preserve natural habitats. With increased investment in research and educational programs, we can find innovative solutions that allow us to save these species and restore ecological balance in areas devastated by human activity. The most important thing is that each one of us can be part of this change. By making conscious decisions in our daily lives, such as reducing the consumption of products that harm the environment, supporting conservation initiatives, and educating ourselves about the challenges facing biodiversity, we are contributing to a greener and more balanced future. The fight to save these species is not just a matter of love for animals, but also of responsibility toward future generations and the planet they will inherit. The future of biodiversity is in our hands, and if we act with determination, we can ensure that animals like the axolotl, pangolin, and black-headed curassow continue to exist on Earth, playing their unique and fundamental roles in the balance of nature. It is time for us to do our part to prevent more extraordinary beings from disappearing and to protect the planet we share with them.